they're kind of relevant to relevant.
Why don't we let Ethan answer the question first? Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
I
advice.
think the thing is as well is I
So passive aggressive.
the thing is as
Thank
well.
you for that advice.
not being
And look,
passive-
proceeds to
No.
look.
Yeah, basically what Ethan said. Do a lot of sorry.
All adults are just kids pretending to be adults. Like that's a thing.
I don't know. Like I don't know about that.
I mean, you're a
Yeah.
great example. So don't.
I
say
don't. A long time ago, when I was very young, I looked to the skies and I said, "Man, I wonder what goes on up there." Have you ever had that moment, guys?
No.
Right. Welcome to Cut the Stem, where we discuss all things STEM related. They are kind of relevant to relevant to
Relevant.
a lot of where students in school are right now. And today on the show we've got as always Ethan. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
All right, that's great. That's an improvement.
Whoa, I'm always
It's
good.
an
From the
improvement.
last episode.
And Eric's not here today. Eric's
that's true.
he's out of state. We've exiled him to
Yep.
teach him like a lesson about
Humility.
appreciating us.
Yep.
And in his place today, we have one of our best interns we have right now, Zoe.
Hi.
She's also the only intern we have right now. So Zoe, how are you? What's been happening since your last appearance?
A lot of shooting. I mean, not the guns,
yeah.
but a lot of.
Who would think it was guns?
Guns.
Why did you even
A
mention
lot of
that?
video shoots. She's
Sorry.
been doing a lot of video shoots.
Yeah, there's been
Ah.
a lot of video shoots going on.
A lot of editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna
Yeah.
have a lot
Okay.
of editing.
Right.
Yeah.
About personal life, how are you doing? Good?
Yeah.
She's not, guys. Just throw up a hashtag
What are you
right there.
talking about?
Pray for Zoe. Can we put that up here? This one goes out to Zoe.
No, it's okay.
All right. So, well, we are back and we want to talk about something that's really I feel like a lot of people like think about it. Some of you might be in the middle of figuring it out right now, but it's about like adulting and jobs and how scary that can be, or how not scary that can be, depending on your perspective, right? So if you don't know, like I am like the oldest one here, and then it's Ethan, and then it's Zoe, and Zoe's not an adult yet. Yeah, the legal age of an
Yeah.
adult is what?
18 or 21?
Is it 18 or 21? I don't remember.
I
Some
mean, I can vote next year, so I mean.
yes.
Wow.
Don't get me started on that.
Anyways, what we want to ask you?
I want to ask you. So you are not yet an adult. You're approaching adulthood. Do you ever think about adulting?
Oh, most of the time, yeah.
And what aspects of
honestly.
adulting do you often think about?
In terms of aspects, probably like things of like getting your own place and like managing your own finances and like just taking over like most of your responsibilities from your parents lah.
Right, right. And do you ever worry about it?
All the time.
Okay.
Okay, no, not all the time, but most of the time.
All right. So shout to Zoe's parents. She's thinking about you guys and how to take care of y'all all the time. All right. So that's good.
Would you say that worry or like that pressure is coming from yourself or from somewhere else?
Or from your parents.
think
That's what
it's
he's trying to say.
There's also like
love my
societal
parents,
pressure.
okay?
Oh yeah, or society
You
or
know.
Malaysia. She's gonna blame you shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? No. Nah. I think it's mostly myself. I just worry. I'm a person that worries a lot, especially about the future. So yeah.
Okay. And how about about your career? Do you have anything like set, like this is what I want to do, or are you still like sort of exploring what the options could be?
I'm more or less exploring, but I have an idea.
Right.
And if it works, why not? I'll just go for it lah, I guess. I mean, for now, I'm planning to study psychology next year at college, and then I'm gonna specialize in uni in probably music therapy. But music therapy isn't really a big thing in Malaysia yet, so
No.
like I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I've met some.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I haven't really asked them like a
Oh.
lot about what they do.
Right.
But I do feel like, do they work with adults or is it mostly children, right?
Mostly children, but there are
Yeah.
adults also.
There are some who
yeah.
do like adults. That's cool.
Mm.
I think music is a very healing thing. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you enjoy music?
Love music.
Right. Go.
I feel like this is too nice. I feel like we need like a devil on the shoulder. This is a
Eric's
stupid
not
idea. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. This is a stupid idea.
Oh.
You're screwed. What are you doing? This is dumb.
That's the societal pressure he was talking about.
So it comes from
That's
him.
why he's dressed in red and stuff today.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
representing that pressure.
Oh my
You know?
gosh.
Okay, what I think this is also a reflection of what I say to myself as well when I create plans. Like, okay, what makes you think that like this is a good idea?
Why would it not be a good idea?
Oh, you want me to give reasons?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's just something that I stumbled on, like
Yeah.
when I went for like an open date kind of thing. It was an
Mhm.
event at the college that I'm planning to go to, and like that just popped up as one of the suggestions, like based on our interests and like how we study best.
Yeah.
So like, it just seemed kind of fitting when I found out about like that role.
So like
So
at this
it's like
thing,
a
it was like psychology that grasped you, or
psychology.
more specifically? Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you like children?
Yeah, I love children. Yes.
You couldn't complete that sentence. Suspicious. Okay. All right. So that's another thing. I guess that's a big part of it. Yeah, because you have to do it every day, and it's quite tiring work as well, having to deal with children. Yeah. So as you can see, this young lady over here is going through the process, trying to discover like what her life is. And I think one of the things that we can talk about, I think that's something you brought up earlier, is when you're kind of going through this process of thinking about what you want to do in life, what are things that could potentially make it a little bit more scary, like not doing these things? I like that question. So that's why I want to know what your answer is.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say the question again.
So right now, everybody's worried, right? What are
Okay.
things that actually, like, by not doing them, it could make you more fearful of adulting and your career?
Okay, I was only saying that because we were being too nice, but
Yeah, but I think it's a really good question. I think there are some things that like younger people, they don't think about, or they're not like, they always say, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that, but they are not doing anything to sort of like get a head start in helping themselves in that
yeah,
arena.
okay. I mean, the biggest thing is inaction. Inaction is the biggest like way to fail. But in terms of action, the only thing, don't worry too much, because if you worry too much that it causes inaction, then that's another issue.
Right.
I feel like that's not too common. It does happen. I know I have had that a bit in the past before, but definitely inaction, usually due to just things seeming bigger than they are, more scary, more uncertain. So yeah, just sort of going after it.
Another one I would add is a lack of research.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know what they're kind of getting into when they're going into it. I think being from like a psychology background, I think that's 90% of the people don't know why they're studying it. Yeah.
That's common.
So that's another one. I think like gaining some experience in the field is another thing. Like going and talking to people who have already maybe been in that role for a while. And I think also having a realistic conversation about like the financial side of it, like getting an idea of like, this is what the pay averages around, and are you okay with sort of living off that or having to deal with those sort of things, right? So because people, I think right now, especially people live in the city, they have very high expectations for what they want their life to be, how they want to live, but they are not every passionate thing that you do will lead to that kind of result. So that's another thing.
Yeah, I think that I've talking to a lot of people. I found I'm surprised how many people are very driven by money, very driven by I want to do this because of money, and then it happens quite a lot where people they go and do a certain job and they don't really care about liking it, and just the money sort of keeps them going by. I think that's I mean, whatever. If it works for you, I guess. But I think that's a pretty terrible way to live your life, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to be opinionated, I'll say that because I think, like, we're on, like, this earth, you know, for what? Like, are you just, like, to make yourself feel better? Then sure, go earn a whole bunch of money and spend it on whatever you want. But I think a better way to look at it is unless you're in, like, a difficult situation, you can probably make money doing loads of things. And so a better first question to ask yourself would be, where can I make, like, the most impact? Where can I make the world the better place, like, in the best way?
Right.
And money will come. I understand some people, you know, have different priorities, but at least have that be somewhere on your priority list of how can I make the world a better place.
I think that's like for some people the urgent. It's not that they care about money, like, or they want to care about money, but the urgency sort of like doesn't leave them a lot of room to not care about it. Like, for example, if you're the first, like, college graduate in your family, for example, then there's a lot of pressure for you to sort of like start contributing back, because maybe your parents and are kind of not in that socioeconomic strata where they can give you more time to explore. They probably had to work really hard to put you through college and things like that. So I like what you said. I do think that and I wish it was more like that, where people could sort of take a little bit more time, but some people don't have that kind of option. So, but at the same time, when the drive is like, I've got to take care of all these bills, then they will feel like the burnout very quickly. So I think in between...
Did you say they will?
They will feel the burnout really quickly, because the goal here is to take care of everybody and not about like what they want to do. Do you disagree?
I think it can depend on the situation. I think if yourself is being completely neglected, I think you're more likely to burn out.
Yeah.
But having a purpose is pretty much the number one way to not be burnt out. And so if you are super passionate about your family and you just like looking after them is like so important to you, then I feel like you're probably less likely to burn out. But if you're neglecting yourself and you're miserable, then
which is why I think, especially for those people, like having to do the homework before they choose like a major is really important to understand, like, okay, like is this what you want to do? Is it going to give you what you need to meet your goals? Like, especially if it's like taking care of your family, sort of like making sure everybody has a roof, you know, food to eat, and maybe some of you might be supporting other siblings and stuff like that. Is it enough to do that? And also, like, is it something that will also, like, on the bad days, you know, you're still passionate about it enough to like sort of continue? So which is why that like after you're done with whatever you're doing, SPM, IGCSE, like really taking that time to dive deep into all the possible choices you have is really, really important.
You'd be surprised how easy it is to find people to talk to as well. You know, ask your parents, do you know someone? Ask your teachers, do you know someone? Ask your friends, do you know someone? You'd be surprised how many, you know, connections there are.
And I think that is also the like, from a lot of young people that I talk to, they are really afraid sometimes that, especially in our society, we like to say that a lot of occupations are not realistic, right? Should I pursue it? Is it worth doing it? Like, you know, like, especially more in the artistic sort of sphere of doing things. And according to like what we've heard from Eric, even some of the sciences don't really guarantee you like like a pathway. So there is that fear to. So I also would challenge like those who like you know, those who are working with kids and stuff like that. I think don't shut down their idea immediately. Like, allow them to lead them on like a thought process journey where they come to certain realizations about the reality of it on their own, right? So ask good questions, but don't like immediately like choke the life out of like whatever their heart's desire is at the moment. What is your heart's desire, Zoe?
Right now?
Yeah.
Of like...
Career-wise, yeah.
Why don't we let Ethan answer a question first? I need to think about it.
About what your heart's desire is?
Yeah.
Yours.
Yeah,
not
Ethan's
mine.
gonna answer.
Yours.
I feel like I could better answer for you than for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I think... Well, we talked already about, like, that you want to, go into psychology and go into music therapy. And the thing is that it would be better if you would, I shouldn't say dumber, if you were more, no, what's like a nicer way to say that? If
He's
you
a
were
real
more
nice guy.
naive, or you were-
He's the nice guy on
No, I'm
this
saying,
show.
I'm saying it would have been better, because then we could be like, oh, you haven't looked into your life and your career at all. Like, here's what, here's where
Oh, I
you
should've
here would
done
be your first
that.
steps. But no, you shouldn't come in and lie. But I think you're maybe a good example, because we can be like, you have looked into some things, you have started to make some decisions, at least some penciled in decisions. And I think, I think, oh, actually, you know what? Okay, a better answer would be, do more research, look into something else. Because if I look back at myself, I think I might give similar answers to what you're giving now. When I was like 17, 18, I would say, yep, I want to study psychology. I'm super interested in people, maybe clinical psychology or something. But looking back at it now, I mean, it's okay to learn. It's okay to, progress in yourself and learn about the subject. And then, you might, obviously, once you learn more about a subject, you can make a better decision on whether it's a good fit for you.
Yeah.
But I think looking at other options within a field that you have already agreed that you really like, and then also maybe a different field. So like, if we were going to give you any homework, I would recommend looking into, I'd say probably another field,
Right.
and then also B, a subfield within psychology already, because there's already so much there.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I would say. And then for someone who like hasn't done anything at all, just start with anything. You like food? Look into cooking. You like even just a small little look in terms of, AI can be so helpful with this. Just ask like, hey, I'm thinking about, talk to ChatGPT. Hey, I'm thinking about, pursuing a career in culinary schools. Can you like ask me some questions to help me, figure out whether this might be something I want to do? Just anything. Everyone loves eating. Culinary school is an easy way to start for anyone if you have no idea what you'd want to do. But I think if you, ask people, like, is there something that I like that I don't realize I like? Because, sometimes other people will know you better than you. And so I think just that first little thing, about that first little spark, that first little thought, I think is where you'll sort of, start figuring out what you want to do.
Oh, that would be a great question to ask people around you. So
What
Yeah.
question?
the one where he said like, ask people, is there something that I like but I don't realize
Yeah.
that I like?
Yeah,
That's a really good
Yes.
question.
Right. So, do you feel a little bit more? How do you feel after he gave you that piece of advice?
It might not be relevant, but I'm just saying, like, I think
No,
that
it's-
is a mistake that I feel like I made.
Yeah, it's a good thing to think about. Also, yeah, I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
I
advice.
think the thing is as well is I
So passive aggressive.
the thing is as
Thank
well,
you for that advice.
not being
And look,
passive-
proceeds to
No.
look the other way.
I think with advice like that, I think it's quite foolproof, because if you start thinking about something and it's really hard to think about yourself doing anything else or in any other field, it's not likely to be something you'll enjoy. If it's hard to think about,
All right.
then it's I think you'll be truthful with yourself
right.
unconsciously.
Interesting.
Ask people around you.
Right. That's Zoe's contribution to this episode.
Yeah.
Ask people around you. I think there's a lot of very interesting things to sort of think about from what you said. I think like people are very scared to ask themselves the question, because I think they also know the answer, and they are not willing to like have to wrestle with like some of those things. Like I have a friend, like he was in college with me, he studied communications, and this year he finally like went freelance. He's a freelance photographer, videographer, does all of those kind of things, and he had to ask himself like really important questions, I think, before he went into it. But now he's like, I don't think he's reached his goal, but for me, maybe I'm wrong and he can correct me, but he seems a lot happier, because I think when he's going to work, he's doing things that he really likes. He's very passionate about it. He is like the way he's engaging clients and stuff, I find to be quite interesting. The way he kind of presents himself and what he can do for people. So I think that really helps, right? Especially like when maybe business is not doing so well and you need to hustle a little bit more. At least you know that when you do get something, you're gonna put like 100% into sort of what you are doing. Yeah.
And if you know that information, it makes it less scary. Because I imagine when he first started, he probably thought like, what if I have a dry spell? Like things might, like, that sounds scary. But I think when you get to it, that pressure actually motivates you, and you're almost like excited to work harder. Yeah. And that's the same with any like what I would describe as like non-professional field. In terms of like mental comfort, like I would describe a professional field as a sort of study that you get a exact specific job at the end of it. So if you're in dentistry, you'll be a dentist by the time you finish. If you're in physiotherapy, you'll be a physiotherapist by the time you finish. If you do clinical psychology, you will be a clinical psychologist by the time you finish. But then there are also lots of what I would call non-professional jobs, or non-professional studies, such as just psychology in general. You're not a psychologist once you graduate. You have to do extra stuff. Or if you study just like, general sciences, biomedicine or something, there is, you could be a researcher, you could do this or that. There's options, and there's not an exact job at the end of it. And so I feel like those sort of jobs are, it's almost like more creative. It's almost more fun because you have more options. You can do so much different stuff, Like if you go do dentistry, you're a dentist. That's it. I mean, great job if you want to do that. But like for people who, are thinking that I can only do these professional jobs that have a specified job title at the end of it, you'd be surprised like how many jobs are out there, and then B, how many jobs are out there for these different fields, right? Like non-professional, as I describe.
Interesting. It's good. Right. So since you've only said like 10 words in this podcast, what would you say to your peer group right now who maybe is going through the sort of same thing, the fear of adulting? I don't know what I'm going to do, right? As someone who's just in the struggle bus with them, what would you say to your fellow busmates,
Honestly, basically what Ethan said. Do a lot of, and you, sorry.
Oh, wow, okay.
Do research. Yeah, because like I had a friend who went into a course, and she didn't do that much research. She just trusted on the
pamphlet said.
Yes. So then when she went in, she was struggling and she was complaining and telling me, oh my goodness, Zoe, do not get into this. It is a lie. So do your research and talk to the people that are involved in whatever field it is.
Okay, so what sort of research, like how would you define research? Because I would say looking at a pamphlet is it's kind of research. Like there are different ways to do it.
Yeah.
How would you say?
You have to be thorough with like what you're researching.
Okay.
So like you can't only just trust one source. I mean, when you do a research paper, you look at multiple sources to fact check it, right?
Because at the end of the day, the pamphlet is trying to sell you something.
Exactly.
Gotta be aware of the biases.
So it's not it's not totally educational as this is what you need. It's also this is what you'll get for this amount, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put out an example. Okay, let's say I'm like a 16-year-old guy, and I'm like, I kind of like playing on computers a bit, like tech and that sort of stuff. How do I do research? I'm listening to this and I hear the word research, but I don't really know what that would mean. What would you guys sort of say to that?
I think right now in hindsight, I will look at what do I want to do with this, with that information I'm going to study. So I mean, if you're saying gaming, there'll be multiple things, right? Like you either design games or whatever else you do in that field. So I would look at like what is the portfolio you want to do that you're sort of passionate about and you want to learn. Then I would look at what is required to sort of get a job like that. So what are the sort of educational requirements, the technical kind of know-how behind it. And then I would start looking at like what institutions are offering those things. Like what can I afford? What can my parents afford? Or like how much is the loan going to give me? All those nitty-gritty things. And then sort of then go look for people who have studied in those places. Ask them like, what was your experience being in here? Was it good? I mean, for all of us who went to to unis and stuff like that, there is no perfect institution.
Yeah.
Every place has its own like area it lacks in, and that's up to you to sort of fill out that information on your own. But I think like doing research on schools really does help you do it, and see if like after that, do they help you with the internship programs, give you sort of like exposure to the industry that helps kickstart sort of you being able to go find a job and stuff like that. Those are things that I would look for. Also, this is something that a lot of people don't do, but they don't look through the course list for their degree. Yeah, like go and look at what kind of subjects you will be studying, and then check again whether that's relevant to the kind of job that you want to do.
Yeah, because each course is so specific. So that really makes a big difference. Yeah.
So for all of us, like we're always looking at like the price. That's one, obviously, because money is important. Especially when you're not paying for it and you're spending someone else's money. Or if you're looking for a scholarship, it's all important. And then a lot of us look like, is it like for those in Malaysia, they always want it to be like accredited by some foreign university and stuff like that, and they think those are the only things that are going to help them. Well, there's about maybe 200 other people who are going to come out with that same certificate. So that certificate's not going to make you as special as you think you are. And that's not going to help in any way, right? But it's about what can you do after that, like doing the breaks. Are you like applying to internship experiences, like so we over here, right? Just getting a great head start, right? Or are you like going and talking to people, going to like events where these things are talking about, volunteering, like being part of societies in your school that are also having this interest and building the skills outside of the classroom. And these are things I think when future employers look at them, like these are the things that kind of will be like, this person is fresh, but they have experience working on these things. So they are not like, we don't have to kind of start them from zero when it comes to like certain skills like working with other people and how to work on a project and stuff like that. So yeah, really important. Do you want to close this out, Ethan?
Close us out?
Yeah.
Wait, I wanted to talk one more time about like adulting specifically.
Okay.
I'm wondering if like adulting is a weird word. Being an adult,
right?
Like either Matt, do you have a good story about like you feel like you finally became an adult, or
I think I'm like on the transition era.
You're still transitioning.
The transition era, because I think that I still live at home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not like I guess you have sort of fully transitioned. You came from another country and he's married kind of. And right,
I'm just married, not kind of married. Yeah,
as of
I have
now,
a ring on my finger.
He's legally married. Yeah, and
okay.
Are you not?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Why aren't you just saying a certain?
Yeah, because Malaysians get weird about that.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like living your own and you're operating on your own. Yeah, I'm not like that. I think like
never mind.
Last year I made like my first major like purchase, which is the car.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's like the introduction to like, this is what it is like, because you gotta really take care of that thing. There's a lot that goes into it. You gotta make like there's the car, there's the insurance and the maintenance, and like recently a lot of things had to be changed, and that was like a big blow, right? So and realizing like being an adult and working and all those things means having to take care of those kind of things. Then when you add a house, it's the same kind of things you have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
There is the maintenance, there is whatever else you have to pay to just make sure it keeps going, and the list continues to grow and grow and grow. Yeah, so I think those things are like you don't realize like how much your parents have to take on till you sort of start taking on a lot of those things like yourself. And in the Asian household, I feel like a lot of children in some respects are very spoiled.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think very spoiled.
Yeah.
I
So
think that causes issues later on. But anyway, do you have any like certain like questions or interests? Zoe, I have something to say as well, but I'll let you like ask, or I don't know.
Sorry, say that.
Do you
again.
have like any
questions?
Anything that you're
Anything you want to ask Ethan about being an adult?
That's like weird question.
I can actually honestly no. I'm lucky. I'm blessed to have parents that are. Don't laugh. I'm blessed to have parents who are very kind and patient to teach me things about and being like very transparent about things in the world and
Okay,
how
that's
they
good.
handle it. So
Okay, that's good.
yeah, I'm glad to have them in my life.
Oh man, shout out, man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. What were you saying?
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. I guess the whole I mean, okay, yeah. Again, being an adult is like also just not a thing. All adults are just kids pretending to be adults. Like that's yeah, a thing.
I don't know. Like I don't know about that.
I mean, you're a
Yeah.
great example, so don't
I
say
don't
anything.
I don't pretend to be an adult, but I'm just saying there are some people out there who really like I don't think they are like pretending like they have so many responsibilities. You just have to.
not
Cope- yeah.
pretend in like a facetious way. I mean, pretend in a like they're not actually any different, you know? Like
Oh yeah, I
like
mean
in
yes.
terms of-
At the end of the day, we are all people. Yeah,
like
yeah.
acting, I guess. Like you're
Yeah.
like not
Mm.
acting, but you know, you're not necessarily lying, but it's not.
I mean, when if you have like kids to take care of and stuff like that, you don't really have a lot of room to be the kid.
Yeah, true. I mean, some
Yeah.
people do it, and like that's not ideal. But
Yeah, and those kids are all in therapy right now. They're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
going to be in Zoe's future music therapy class. They're all gonna be singing like "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but what I was saying is that you just kind of get a bigger list of things to think about,
Mm.
things to worry about. But it becomes second nature eventually, and it's
Right.
not. It doesn't become all that difficult. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the transition is always smooth. It's never like you just suddenly dropped in the deep end. Like even when I left the house for the first time, moved to university, like I'm in charge of like everything. Like you know, I got to pay the rent, I got to get the food, I got to cook it, I've got to make sure I get to my classes on time. You know, like it's. I feel like you adapt pretty quickly, unless you were absolutely just coddled until you were 18. Then you'll probably be alright. Things will come naturally.
Why were you
Um,
coddled till you
No.
were 18?
Yeah, I
You
think
still got
yeah,
one
she's
more
thinking
year.
of
You still got
someone.
one more year.
No, no, no.
Yeah. So Zoe's parents don't coddle her till her 18th birthday.
That's in a few months.
Oh, you're 18 in a few months?
Like
Oh,
February.
February?
Yeah.
Alright, don't coddle her till February. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Did you learn anything?
Yeah, so much.
Okay. These are the closing thoughts. Right? Number one, do proper research before
Yeah.
you decide what you wanting to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Start somewhere.
Some of you may I don't know, some of you maybe your parents can afford for you to make that mistake and you can try it and jump between things. Some of you don't, right? But regardless, right, I think that even if you do have the resources to start over again, I think at the end of the day, like the thing that you can never get back is time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that you would much rather have made that better decision and saved a little time and gone faster to doing whatever you want to do. So that's one, right? Think, do proper research, make better decisions. Number two, I think you cannot run away from the whole concept of adulting. I think like you pointed out, it is very scary, but I think we are all kind of capable of it.
Yes.
Again, unless like what Ethan said, your parents have never made you do anything at all,
Yeah.
right?
A good time
What are you talking?
a good time
Are you looking?
I don't know. I'm just testing. Yeah. All right.
well, a good time to start is now. If you've never
Exactly.
done it.
Right. So if you're like 15 and watching this, go home and do something, man.
Make
yeah.
dinner or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like when you see a lot of teenagers these days and they're and you watch them sweep and they don't really know what they're doing. You know.
Sure.
Yeah. So I feel like, oh, okay. So that shows chores are not
You're judging people
Yeah.
on how they sweep.
yeah, man. Sweeping technique is
He's
It's
writing
prime.
a PhD at the moment. On
yeah,
sweeping technique.
exactly. Look
Yeah.
out for my paper. Yeah, and it comes with a Broadway musical.
Oh my
All
god.
Wow. Okay.
Brooms the musical. Yeah. All right. Okay, we're done for the day. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you're interested in a lot of the STEM-based camps and events that we have, you can check out all of that stuff at spacequest.asia. And just
Like, comment, subscribe.
like, comment, subscribe, and we miss you, Eric. Yeah. but I don't really want you back.
Oh.
All right, bye. See you.
All right, Stem.
Bye.
Cut.
when she went from like lucky to blessed, I was like, this girl is so Christian. She grew up so Christian.